was packing up on Sunday, setting off explosives and setting houses ablaze. Witnesses said 52 people were killed in that attack, while 22 died in an attack on a church service in Waga, Chakawa village, Adamawa State, on Sunday. The attacks were blamed on Boko Haram. A Maryland mall where a 19-year-old gunman shot and killed 2 young store employees before apparently taking his own life was scheduled to reopen on Monday with increased law enforcement presence, police said. The popular retail complex in Columbia, Maryland, about 20 miles west of Baltimore, has been closed since Darian Marcus Aguilar fired 6 to 8 shots from a 12-gauge shotgun on Saturday as the mall bustled with weekend shoppers. This is IRN USA News.
You probably knew that Thomas Edison gave us the first commercial light bulb. But did you know he invented alkaline batteries and an electric train? Edison said, if we all did the things we're capable of, we would astound ourselves. Hi, how in the world are you anyway? I'm Andy Willoughby. For almost 2 decades, I've been helping families build home businesses. Many have been astounded at what they've been able to achieve. Today, I want to introduce you to my newest and most exciting home business concept ever. It's MaxAchieve.com. If you'd like to earn $500 to $5,000 or more a month working from home, check out MaxAchieve.com. This is more than a home business. At MaxAchieve, we want to help you experience more success in all areas of your life. To find out how you could astound yourself, go to MaxAchieve.com. That's MaxAchieve.com. Or call 800-801-3465. 800-801-3465.
A wave of Arctic air that settled over the Midwest and the plains is expected to spread into the southeast late Monday, bringing a chance of snow to several major cities by Tuesday. In normally balmy New Orleans, there's a 30% chance of rain and sleet Monday night, a 70% chance of freezing rain Tuesday, and an 80% chance of wintry mix Tuesday night, according to the National Weather Service. The mayor of Sochi, host of the Winter Olympics, has said there are no gay people in the city. Anatoly Pakhomov said homosexuals were welcome at the Games as long as they respect Russian law.
Next week, thousands of Olympic athletes and spectators from around the world will arrive in Sochi, but not all of them may feel welcome. It's a big question for some Olympians and Paralympians as to how they will be treated. Russia's new law bans the promotion of non-traditional sexuality to under 18s. Critics say the law is draconian and it effectively outlaws gay rights protests.
That was the BBC's John Sweeney reporting, and this is IRN USA News.
I just sneaked into my kids' rooms and took temperatures while they're sleeping, thanks to my Exergen thermometer. All I did was swipe their foreheads for a few seconds. It didn't even wake them up. My sister, the nurse, told us about the Exergen temporal scanner thermometer, and it's the best. Real value for the money and truly a lifesaver. Now I don't have to deal with ears or rears, if you know what I mean.
I'm Dr. Frank Pompey, founder of Exergen. Thousands of hospitals and clinics rely on temporal scanners. I'm confident you will too.
The Exergen temporal scanner. Pick one up at Costco and other fine retailers, or visit us at Exergen.com.
The United States on Monday demanded that Syria allow aid into the starving city of Homs as talks aimed at ending 3 years of civil war hit more trouble over the future of President Bashar al-Assad. The Syrian government said women and children could leave the besieged city and that rebels should hand over the names of the men who would remain. A U.S. State Department spokesman said an evacuation was not an alternative to immediate aid. The Grand Canyon, which snakes through the American state of Arizona, only took its present form very recently, claims a new scientific study. Earlier studies suggested the canyon was 70 million years old.
The debate about the age of the Grand Canyon has been going on for about 140 years since John Wesley Powell first floated through the Grand Canyon, and it's flipped back and forth a bit. Initially, he thought it was a very old canyon on the order of 70 million, and then the consensus swung the other way to the 5 or 6 million year time frame. We've divided the canyon into 5 different segments, and our paper suggests that really to understand the Grand Canyon, we have to understand each segment and its history and how the landscape evolved in that particular segment.
That was Professor Carl Karlstrom from the University of New Mexico speaking to the BBC. The latest investigation found that...
My fellow Americans,
you are a meathead.
KTOX1340.com. Check it out.
KTOX.
No additives, no preservatives, no chemicals.
It's just good, clean fun.
Dandy Donut and Deli at 4630 Highway 95 in Fort Mojave has fresh baked donuts and pastries every day. They also feature sandwiches made to order, burritos, salads, wraps, and much more. Come in for breakfast and try the Sunrise Croissant Sandwich. It's a freshly buttered croissant with 2 scrambled eggs, American cheese, a choice of ham, bacon, turkey, or sausage, and a side of fresh fruit, mini muffin, or a regular donut. Don't forget the smoothies, fresh coffee, iced or hot, and Thai iced tea. Dandy Donut and Deli at 4630 Highway 95 in Fort Mojave, where quality food and service happen every day. When it comes to local news, state news, business news, national news, sports, variety, information, and more, KTOX is the Tri-State's talk leader.
Live from Studio D in Needles, California, KTOX 1340 AM and Pirate Web Radio Productions presents the Rob Hanson radio program.
As soon as you are able, woman, I am willing to make the break that we are on the brink of.
In my world, everyone's a pony, and they all eat rainbows and poop butterflies.
I mean, nobody got dead in the regatta. Okay? That's a good thing, right?
To me, a safe regatta is no fatalities.
If I wanted anything to do with San Padrano, I'd call Domino's and order a pizza.
And welcome. It is Monday, KTOX 1340 AM. I'm Radio Rob Hanson, and welcome to the Rob Hanson radio program. I'm back. I am. I know I said I'd be back on Wednesday, but circumstances beyond my absolute control prevented me from being here. So welcome back in. 1-800-842-1340. You want to call, get in on the program. I'll give you a daddy update here in just a little bit. He's home now, and we'll talk about more of that here in just a little while. But we've got some interesting things to talk about today. Especially, I've heard on the Arizona news today some really something that really disturbs me a whole lot. And that's Sheriff Joe possibly throwing his hat in the ring for Arizona governor. We're gonna have to talk about the pros and cons of that one. I definitely want your participation. 1-800-842-1340 because that's some news. Right? Could you imagine? Actually imagine Sheriff Joe Aparo as, stepping down as the America's sheriff and stepping into the role of governor of Arizona. And what kind of nonsense and stuff would go on after that? And it just, holy cow! It We'll get into that one later because that could probably be a topic for about 3 weeks worth of shows. I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous. 1-800-842-1340. Phone lines are open. Give me a call anytime you want. Even to say, hey, welcome back to the air, Rob. We missed you. Where the heck you been? It's just, oh Lord. It's been a hell of a couple of weeks. It really has, and we'll talk about that. But and then of course we've got all sorts of things going on in Golden Valley. I'm not going to get into that because just more than I can actually comprehend at this moment. Hey, let's take a phone call. KTOX, you're on the air.
Hey, Rob.
Hey,
good to have you back.
I'm glad to be back.
I'm hoping all is well.
It's going. It's going.
Okay. Sheriff Joe.
Sheriff Joe Aparo or Pyro. Yeah, I know. Could you imagine him as governor?
I'm trying to figure out why he's actually throwing his hat in his ring, and it clicked with me this morning when I was driving back from the material yard that his predecessor,
Mm-hmm.
Our governor now, she can't really usurp the state government anymore or the Constitution and actually clinch another vote.
Correct.
Which she tried.
She tried.
It reminds me an awful lot of Giuliani when 9/11 happened. Hey, why don't I just stay on board? Hey, if you're so interested in it being that important, man, why don't you stay on and assist him? And you know what he didn't do? Exactly that.
Yeah.
Stay on board and assist.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if they want to go for more terms, and we have term limits for the governor here in Arizona, and if they want to go on for more terms, well, set an initiative, get the Constitution changed. Everybody's able to do that if they really, really, really want to. But I look at it this way. Incumbency is part of the problem we have in government, all levels of government.
Exactly.
And the more people the more we can change out that job. The more we can take corporate influence out of the job to get reelected. The more we can take out.
I don't necessarily think that term limits need to be the answer, but term durations. Everybody only gets to serve 2 years.
Well, we've set it up differently. Let's look at Congress. One gets 2 years, and the one house gets 2 years, and the other house gets 6 years.
That's another show.
Yeah, it is. But seriously, term limits in that arena would certainly be beneficial to people, because they get so ensconced in there that they forget where they came from and who they're representing.
Well, they don't forget who they're representing, but they never stop representing who they're representing at all. The problem is that they metamorphosize into a different realm of who
exactly
they are representing.
Exactly.
And that's a huge issue.
Yes, it is. And I think
any level in any politics.
I think term limits would definitely solve that issue. I mean, you don't need to go to Washington D.C. for 60 years. You don't need to go to even our state houses for 4, 5, 6, 7 terms.
Rob, can I represent myself here for a moment?
No, of course you can.
Thank you ever so much. For 30 years, I was a stonemason.
Right.
And I decided, you know what? It's time to retire from that and focus on my wood shop business. I'm done pushing stone up the wall.
Yeah. But that's private business. That's you.
I understand that.
My personal plan is to have a heart attack and die behind the microphone. That's how long I plan to stay where I am.
Rob, you're about 10 years younger than me. You're not going to feel that way in a decade.
Well, I might.
No, you won't. Trust me, you won't. I've been in your decade.
Well,
and I felt that way, and I thought, yeah. You know what? When you get to my lifetime, you're really going to start to look at, I hope to hell I hit 60.
Well, I understand. I understand that. It's just, as far as my career goes, I plan on living my life behind the microphone is what I'm saying.
Okay.
And
all right. right. All that being said, I can relate to you because I intend to die at my table saw.
I understand that. You know, that cut you too.
I did it with my hands with the stone for 3 decades.
Right.
And I gave up that, and I folded back into my woodwork.
But you know, if I ever you know come up with a major brain issue and decide to run for public office, I hope that my friends and family will say, okay, you can do this, but only for a little while. You cannot run over and over and over and over again. Take a look at the Bullhead City Council. Okay, it's packed with incumbents other than Tammy Ring. She's new, but everybody else has been elected time after time after time again. You know, Sam Medrano, the mayor of up there, and look at what it's got us.
But
a bunch of special interest projects that don't benefit the city, just benefit the city council, make them look good.
I guess what I'm trying to express is the most successful people I've ever watched to retire in their lives successfully have turned their talent or whatever into an extra income for them.
Right.
And most of the guys that I see that are sitting in public office are doing that at public office, and they're earning excessive amounts of money. It's not retirement to keep you from going nuts. It's retirement to make a retirement.
Right.
And that's a huge difference.
I agree. Anyway, I gotta go. I gotta run.
Rob,
gotta run
glad
off.
to have you back on the air.
But do you think Arizona would benefit for Sheriff Joe being the governor?
Let's be straight up about it. Do you honestly think he can win?
Actually, I do. That's the scary part, and I'll tell you why.
You really
I will
do.
I will tell you why he has a
He's
chance
got
of winning.
That proverbial snowball's chance.
No, I believe he's got more than a snowball's chance. If he really went for it, I think he could get it.
I don't
and
think
in a landslide.
that the $2-3 million that he can raise is enough to get it done.
I wouldn't blink too closely at that, because I think, again, I'll tell you why after I take a break and come back. Okay.
Right on. I'll be looking forward to hearing your side. You may hear from me again.
Well, you know, that's the risk I take. All righty. Well, thanks for your call.
Bye.
Bye. It is the Rob Hanson radio program. We'll take a quick break. Go out with Little Bangles, Walk Like an Egyptian. It is the Rob Hanson radio program right here on KTOX 1340 AM, the Tri-State's Renegade radio station. Come back and talk about a little more about good old Sheriff Joe.
You're listening to Our Daddy on KTOX 1340 AM. Tune in daily. Peace.
KTOX
1340 AM.
The Tri-State's original local talk station.
And now for your local news from KTOX.
Mojave County residents are being warned about phone scams operating in the county. One thief represents himself as being affiliated with the Mojave Electric Cooperative and offers energy-efficient upgrades to air conditioning and other items. MEC is not sponsoring any such program. Another thief is attempting a grandkid in jail scam, and a third thief is claiming to be a Windows computer person offering remote work on computers if the victim supplies personal data. Best defense, hang up the phone. 7 felony counts have been levied against Edward Sean Mullins, 38 of Kingman, after a traffic stop last Thursday yielded nearly 6 ounces of methamphetamine, 2 handguns, cash, and drug paraphernalia. Mullins was booked into the Mojave County Jail on numerous drug charges, possession of stolen property, along with a felony warrant for failure to appear. 7 days of testimony and 2 days of deliberation resulted in a Mojave County Superior Court jury finding Russell Shields, 44 of Kingman, guilty of second-degree murder in the shooting and abandonment of the body of Albert Orozco, 27, a Kingman area drug dealer, in July of 2011. Sentencing has been set for 25 February and could lead to a maximum of 25 years behind bars if aggravating factor guidelines are included in Judge Derek Carlisle's determination.
This has been your local news from
KTOX,
the Tri-States talk leader.
And get the machine that goes bing. Someone here talked about blight. How do we fix blight if we don't have the funding for it? How do we take care of that? Drive down Marina Drive, and you'll see what blight is like.
Help keep truth on the airwaves. Support KTOX with your non-tax deductible contributions.
My name is Dale Pazinski, and this is how I live United. I volunteer with United Way, helping the homeless in my community by teaching computer skills and helping them build a basic resume to save on their very own USB drive. It's huge when somebody says, "Hey man, that job that you helped me apply for, I got it." My name is Dale Pazinski. I help people achieve financial independence. So I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Dad, I don't think that will work.
Oh, nonsense. Duct tape fixes everything.
Uh-oh, Mom's gonna kill you.
Dad, you should get new flights for your darts and New Life games.
Yeah, Dad, Joey has all sorts of good stuff there.
Billiard and pool along with old school video games. He'll even fix their slot machine for us, Dad.
Okay, girls, let's go to New Life Games at 1159 Highway 95 in Bullhead City, Arizona. And let's go before your mom figures out I broke the window again.
Green light. Hey, girl. School zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin' Street? Girlin' Street!
It's hard to concentrate on 2 things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You're listening to KTOX AM 1340, Needles, California, the home of talk in the Tri-State.
Hi, my name is Luca Zanna, and I support KTOX 1340 AM, your community radio station.
Welcome back. It is the Rob Hanson radio program right here on KTOX 1340 AM, the Tri-State's Renegade radio station. Talking about Sheriff Joe and his possible bid for the Arizona governorship. You think of that and you laugh and you go, oh, God, there's no way in heck that he'd be actually able to make it. And I think there is. I think that, one, he would have the law enforcement in Arizona vote locked up. I think he would. I think he'd have the Arizona the Arizona police all over that particular voting block locked up across the state. Your uber right wing folks, he'd have that vote locked up. And your left wing loony vote locked up. So I think he could win, and I think he could win in a landslide if he actually goes and does it. And we'll talk about later about why I think he's putting his feelers out, because something's fishy here. Something doesn't feel right. Anyway, you want to talk about 1-800-842-1340. You know, I said I was going to give a dad update. Well, Dad is back from the hospital in Phoenix. So I'm able to be here. The reason I wasn't able to be here is I had to pick up kids from school and be available for everybody else while other family members were down in Phoenix with my dad. And so I taking care of business around the house. So and there may be a few days here and there where I am not able to be here because of one thing or another. But we're working on solutions for those now. But the immediacy of the family emergency is over. Thank God, and he's stable enough to be home now. And I think being home he'll get a lot better quicker than being hundreds of miles away from his family and even his little doggy at home. Everybody needs a little doggy. And our Ginger. She's a 14-year-old beagle. Yeah, I think I've talked about her in the past. She thinks she's a cat, gets up on the back of the couch, and used to get up on the table, on the counters, everywhere else. She was trained by a cat, so I think she thinks she's a cat. But anymore, she just sleeps and eats and does little old doggy things. But she's a good. She should have heard her last night. And my dad finally came in. She woke up and finally became conscious enough to realize that my dad was back home, and she cried for a good, probably 5 minutes, right there at his legs and rubbing on him and hugging him and I'm so glad to see you. Yeah, anyway, we miss my dad and I'm glad he's home, and I'm glad he's stable enough to be home. But it's going to be a long haul to complete recovery, and it's just going to force us to change a lot of different things. A lot of different things are going to be changing, and of course some not necessarily the format of the show. And I'm going to be trying my dead level best to hang on to doing this show every day. But it's going to take some effort. I put up an advertisement today on Craigslist looking for an ad executive because I need to bring in advertisers for the show because frankly I'm going to be responsible for a lot more of the financials of my family, helping my dad out, helping my sister out, helping our family out, period. So, it's going to take some things. And if any of you out there, I'll tell you what, you help me land advertisers, and heck, we'll get you something back too for that. You did the work. We'll handle the ad itself and the placement, but you close the deal and heck, we'll pay you too. See how that works. Everybody wins. The advertiser wins, you win, I win. So if you want a nice part-time job, go out and hustle me up some ads. We'll get you on commission. We'll talk about it later too. Anyway, talking about Sheriff Joe. Oh my goodness gracious! Can you actually believe that he had the audacity? Well, right now he's doing the exploratory thing. Every politician creates an exploratory committee to see if they have a chance at even winning an election. But I fully believe that if he were to run tomorrow, if the election was tomorrow, he'd win in a landslide. I really, even with all the stunts he's pulled over the last few years, I think he's just enough of a media figurehead for everybody to have that name stuck in their brain when it comes down to voting. He gets it. It is the Rob Hanson Radio Program. Right back, right after the bottom of the hour news.
You're listening to KTOX 1340 AM, Needles, California.
Arizona News Radio. A worker hospitalized after his arm was trapped in a conveyor belt at a Phoenix sand and gravel company.
What they found was an adult male in his 40s who had his arm completely caught into the basically the gears and the mechanism that actually makes this belt run.
A woman who police say fatally hit her boyfriend with a car and then left the scene of the accident made her first appearance in court.
All right, you've been charged with one count of leaving the scene with death or injury, a Class 2 felony.
A 7-year-old Mesa girl hospitalized. Her father could face charges. She was injured riding an ATV.
They would be filing a long-form complaint on the father just based on the totality of the event for allowing the child to ride the ATV.
A bill that would let someone invoke their religion as a defense and some of their action clears a committee.
This opens up a litany of discrimination within our state.
That's Phoenix Democrat Anna Tovar. For these and other stories, go to ArizonaNewsRadio.com. I'm George Scatter.
It's New Year's resolution time again. Is yours to finally quit tobacco? The Arizona Smokers Helpline, or Ashline, offers free telephone or web services to help you quit. The Ashline provides free services in both English and Spanish. The quit coaches are real people. Most of them are former tobacco users, so they've been there and they understand how hard it is. Make 2014 the year that you quit and stay quit. You can quit. The Ashline can help. Call the Ashline at 1-800-556-6222 or go online to ashline.org.
Running a business isn't a solo act. It's more like a team sport. And like sports, it's vital to assemble the right players to be successful. Over the last 88 years, SCF Arizona has earned a reputation as being a valued member of their policyholders' teams, not just as a state's.
And now for your local news from KTOX.
Using private prison labor that takes jobs away from local tradesmen, Golden Valley Fire Chief Thomas O'Donohue may have committed a Class 1 misdemeanor by illegally acting as a contractor when remodeling a piece of district-owned property currently in negotiations to be sold to an unnamed party. Chief O'Donohue was caught by Mojave County building inspectors last week, and the property was red tagged for multiple violations, including not having a licensed contractor. When the issue was brought up at last week's Golden Valley Fire Board meeting, this is what Chief O'Donohue had to say.
What's important is when I stub my toe, that I don't stub it again, and I learn my lesson. If I continually stub my toe, I would say the board would have cause to take me over in the corner and
40 lashes.
40 lashes with a wet noodle.
This is David Hayes reporting for KTOX News.
John McCain, the former 2008 presidential nominee and longtime member of Congress, was censured by members of the Tea Party faction of the Republican Party on Saturday and deemed to be too liberal for the goals of the party. McCain, who has supported a common-sense approach to immigration reform and health care access for all Americans, has long promoted himself as being a maverick and is now being condemned for the very things his party supported for the past 30 years. Arizona Democrats are quietly laughing as they watch the GOP literally eat their own.
This has been your local news from
KTOX, the Tri-States Talk leader.
And get the machine that goes bing. Someone here talked about blight. How do we fix blight if we don't have the funding for it? How do we take care of that? Drive down Marina Drive, and you'll see what blight is like.
Help keep truth on the airwaves. Support KTOX with your non-tax deductible contributions.
Welcome back. It is the Rob Hanson radio program right here on KTOX 1340 AM, Tri-State's Renegade radio station. Talking about Sheriff Joe and his run for considering a run for governor. Okay, let's the Elect Sheriff Joe Committee. The six-term incumbent re-election campaign announced in a press release that he's raised more than $3.5 million in 2013. According to the Associated Press, most contributions were made by out-of-state donors, as critics of Ohio tried and failed to force a recall election against the sheriff last year. We continue to blow them away with the depth and breadth of support for Sheriff Joe. Problem is, the people in Maricopa County really like him. They reelect him time and time and time again, regardless of whatever civil rights violations he commits against his own citizens, against his own constituents. Regardless of whatever dumb thing he's trying to, he created a little commission to find out to get a hold of President Obama's birth certificate. He's a birther. And yet this endears him to the wackos out there. It really does. And regardless of where it is, he will have campaign contributions come in from out of state all over the place. So as far as his raising money is concerned, he'll be able to do it. He'd be able to do it and compete really well. And the thing is, in Arizona, he is a well-known person. I mean, he's Arizona's rock star as far as that kind of stuff goes. I think only a few other people are more notorious than he is. But I think he would have an excellent shot at the gubernatorial office. Now, whether he'd be an effective and good governor, no, I don't think so. I think his policies would be far too out there, even for most conservatives in the state, and there are a good majority of conservatives. But here's where I think this is going to take a left turn. I think this is where it's going to take a left turn. I think he just announced that so he can get more campaign contributions, so he can run for sheriff again, and to keep his name in the news, because his kind of narcissism needs to remain in the news. You're live. You're live on KTOX. How you doing?
Hey, I got to ask one question.
Go ask one.
Who is the opposition going to toss up against this guy? You bring up a huge point.
Mm-hmm.
He's gigantor.
He is. He is gigantor. Well, the thing is, it would come down. There are several Republicans running who have announced that, yeah, I'm going to go for governor. I think even Rick Murphy, is throwing his hat in the ring.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't mean to cause any trouble, but Murphy throws his hat in an awful lot of rings.
Yeah, he does. And the nice thing about Rick Murphy is he continuously loses. But it's his money. He can chase after whatever.
I will give him one thing. He's like my Queensland healer.
Mm-hmm.
He's tenacious.
He is, and one of these days he'll probably get the sympathy vote and vote him into some office or another.
Who else would run against him?
I don't know. There are a couple of Democrat nominee, or considering. Right now, it's all considering at this point.
I understand that, and with all fairness, I keep hearing on a national level people talking about Hillary.
Mm-hmm.
I've yet to hear her say that she's even interested, let alone running.
It's just talking.
It's
just talk.
saying.
Yeah, I do know what you're saying.
And it walks parallel with what we're talking about.
Let's go to the other extreme. I mean, who is it? Alaska governor. What's her name? Palin.
Palin?
Yeah.
Oh,
she.
Got to
No. Just before you blow a mind gasket. Okay?
I'm not blowing a mind gasket.
You did.
She does that for me.
you did it. I mean, I mentioned her name. You got to be kidding me. I said, no, she has no intentions of running for anything. Yet her name is continually put out there. Oh yes, so we're, and then here we have these armchair quarterbacks. Okay, sit down on these national talk shows or national news shows and battle the points between a Sarah Palin and a Hillary Clinton runoff for the presidency.
And
neither of them are going to be viable candidates.
And Sarah Palin continues to get paid, what, $800,000 every time she goes and speaks somewhere.
Yeah.
It's bad business not to be popular, but it's really bad business not to capitalize on it either.
Exactly. Well, look at Bill. I mean,
well, yeah.
look at Bill. You know, he goes out. It's going to cost you $500,000 to hear him to get him to come speak at whatever it is, and believe me, he is not hurting for cash.
Oh no!
And
I'm not
any
suggesting that any one side is any better off than the other one or any better for it. And quite frankly, I'll put it to you. If somebody wanted to pay me $1,800 to come and talk at a university to teach them about what I've learned about 30 years worth of construction, I couldn't get there fast enough.
You know what? I'd even consider taking $25 to shut the heck up.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do know what you're saying.
I'd be all over it in a hot second.
But I look at this and I look at this. Sheriff Joe. That's a big name. That's a nationwide known name.
Yeah,
you don't think there's enough.
Both sides of that too.
Exactly, but you don't think that his name is big enough with the extreme right wing wackos to develop a huge war chest.
Actually, you want my honest personal opinion?
Sure.
Here we go. And I'm going to hop right on out there. I think that broad that we got in there right now would be more than willing to do everything that she possibly could behind the scenes to see to it that he got in the office, take her place.
It could very well be.
And I think she'd pull every possible personal string she could to make it happen.
No, it's a possibility. I won't discount it out of hand. But I won't argue.
Willing to sit back and talk about actually changing the state constitution so that she could get another term.
Well, and she has the right to sit there and talk about that.
No,
sure she does.
Doesn't.
Yeah, she does.
Nobody has the right to change that.
Yeah, they do. They can present legislation. A governor's like any other citizen. They may be at the top, but they can
arguing a case, Rob.
What's that?
That's completely different than using your office.
Mm-hmm. Well, they can sit there and do that. There's nothing that bars them from talking about changing the Constitution. What's going to happen, or what does or does not happen, is completely different from that.
Okay, you're calming me down now. You have a way of doing that.
Well, I look at these things. Here's a person over here, okay, making a bunch of noise. Yap 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 yap. They're the okay. Let's go with the governor for a moment. She's sitting there talking about noises, about changing the Constitution to reflect this and that, reflect that. One, she's got to get enough support. Before any constitutional change, the people in Arizona, a vast majority, a matter of fact, a super majority, have to be able to vote, to change the Constitution. She can sit there and say anything she wants. She could even put measures forward.
You do understand that the massive super majority of the population of the state of Arizona resides where she does.
Right, and I understand that. But the thing is, they don't all agree. And that's the nice thing about it is. And that's why making constitutional changes like that is extremely difficult to do. Because I think the people of Arizona, right and left, agree that the top position, such as president or governor, need to have those limits placed on them.
Oh, it absolutely.
So it would be a massive uphill battle for her. So she can sit there and yap and all she wants. What's going to happen and what will happen are two different things.
I've watched an awful lot of things over the last couple of years happening in the Midwest via, for all intents purposes, executive order from the governors.
Right.
And they've changed
things
in their states that, in my opinion, should have been at least heard and voted on.
Exactly, and this is where
and it's
this is where the Arizona Constitution is so powerful, because basically they have the U.S. Constitution written into the state constitution, it does limit the power of executive orders immensely.
Isn't just here in Arizona. What scares me is when it becomes a trend. And
it's becoming a trend. Go look at
governors, so goes the nation, and then where do we go from
exactly.
there?
Well, look at the top dog we have right now. I mean, Mr. Executive Order.
Are you speaking about Obama?
I am.
Okay.
I am Mr. I will do as I darned well please, regardless of congressional consent. And,
really, I'm
let's
shut up
let's talk about the out of session appointments where Congress really wasn't out of session and he went ahead and appointed people anyway.
How about all the time that Congress was playing a little game within themselves, Republican against Tea Parties against John Boehner. There's been a bunch of crap going on for the last 8 years up on Capitol Hill.
Not saying that there isn't.
Nobody is clean.
Oh, not saying there isn't. But the thing is, he's definitely put some executive orders forward that are not in line with the Constitution.
And a whole bunch of them have been doing the same game.
Oh yeah, I know, and I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong. I'm saying that it's happening.
Order.
And that's what we get when we get incumbents. Seriously, they don't know how to work together anymore. They are so entrenched in being Democrat or Republican or Tea Party or independent or you name it, regardless of whatever they identify themselves with.
Now we're back to my original
exactly. It's
term limit.
Exactly, term limits.
Imagine that.
It would solve so many things so quickly. Anyway, gotta run. Thanks for your phone call.
Enjoyed the conversation, Rob, as always.
That's what we do around here.
Bye.
Bye. It is the Rob Hanson radio program. 1-800-842-1340 is the number you want to get involved in the conversation. Want to hear from you. Yeah. Take more of your phone calls when we come back from this break. It is the Rob Hanson radio program right here on KTOX 1340 AM, the Tri-State's Renegade radio station.
You're listening to KTOX 1340 AM, Needles, California. NFL. You want it?
We got it.
We want it more than they do.
Come get it.
We got it.
KTOX has it.
Your teams.
There's a man there. It's a touchdown. Redskins score.
Over the goal line. Denver touchdown.
Touchdown, Pittsburgh.
Your players.
Adrian is gone. An 80-yard touchdown for Peterson. Come on.
NFL. Covered here. Sunday afternoon.
We are Fox Sports.
Only on KTOX.
Hey, America. We need to have a little talk. We've got more food than we know what to do with in this country, yet 17 million kids in America are struggling with hunger. Makes no sense. Luckily, the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks has volunteers gathering excess food and getting it to hungry kids. They're kind of like food angels. Hey, become a food angel yourself by supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org. We can't do it without your help. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Twin Arrows Navajo Casino Resort, voted Arizona's best casino resort destination. Experience over $500,000 in jackpots monthly. Sports bar excitement to steakhouse elegance. Luxurious rooms. Anything but ordinary.
Get revved up for your chance to win a brand new 2014 Toyota Tundra on Friday, January 31st from 7 to 10 p.m.
Twin Arrows, 15 minutes east of Flagstaff on I-40. Always a winning experience. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
You're listening to the Tri-State's original talk station, KTOX, 1340 AM, Needles, California.
Hi, you're listening to KTOX live from Needles, California, your community radio station. Let's get this thing started. Peace out.
Welcome back. It is the Rob Hanson radio program. 1-800-842-1340 is the number. You can give me a call and talk about Sheriff Joe. You know, here is my thing. I don't believe he's actually going to throw his hat in to run for governor. I really don't. I don't think it's something he's really all that interested in. He may explore it, but I think he has said this just to gain national attention once again, and to get his news in the media, because people like Huffington Post and whatnot and so forth ran with this story. Oh my God! It's just like mentioning Justin Bieber. Okay. It's like every time they mention, whether it's positive or negative, his name gets out there, and then people remember the stuff that the stuff that he's either fighting for or he's been accused of or blah blah blah. His name continues to get out there, and he will get more contributions nationwide for his various things. Whether it's campaign contributions or legal defense contributions or this or that contribution, whatever. I think it's just, I think it's a narcissist in him, knowing that he has to stay in the limelight, and if he doesn't if he's not able to read his name in the newspaper or hear it on the nightly news or whatever, he does not feel validated. So I honestly think it's a publicity stunt. Look at the TV show he did for a very short time. I mean, that wasn't worth anything. It was publicity. And even the way he treats his prisoners down there in Maricopa County. Makes them wear pink underwear, pink handcuffs, pink stripes. Those prisoners don't give a crap. They aren't humiliated. It's all for show. And he keeps his name out there and makes him look good or makes him look bad. Either way, just keeps his name out there. And every time he's brought up on charges by the ACLU or something like that, his name gets out there again. I'm sure we're all familiar with the old adage, there's no such thing as bad advertising. Okay, even bad news is good news for somebody trying to promote themselves. Just like the latest Justin Bieber stuff that everybody's going all about. Yeah, the young punk got caught DUI and drugs and whatnot and so forth. So what? But it's been huge news. I can't surf a news channel or even a regular TV station without hearing about Justin Bieber's latest arrest. You know, we were sitting there talking. My dad and I were sitting there talking last night before I went to bed, and it was like we were thinking back to the old Disney show. You remember the Mickey Mouse Club? Do you guys remember them? I'm sure you do. Even I remember the Mickey Mouse Club. How many Mouseketeers? How many of the old school Mickey Mouse Club people have you heard of that have turned into bad people as they grew up? I can't think of one of them. And then we got Miley Cyrus, who did a Disney program when she was young. I can't remember the name of it offhand. But it was great. My daughters loved it. I'll take a phone call. KTOX, you're on the air.
Annette Funicello, and she grew up to be a good woman.
Oh, she did. But we're talking about Mouseketeers that grew up to be criminals.
I think that straight across the board, the further the research you go, the farther the quantity of good people you're going to find.
Exactly.
I'll let it go at
whole different set of morals and mindset.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thanks for your call.
Bye.
You had the Mickey Mouse Club, for crying out loud. How many of those people grew up to be criminals and nightmares for their parents and society on hand? No, pretty much each and every last one of them grew up to be good citizens and a benefit to society. Annette Bonicello is a prime example of that. It is the Rob Hanson radio program. Top of the hour. Hit us so fast. I don't know what the heck happened to this first hour, but it's here. We'll be back right after the top of the hour news and a few messages. Loving it. 1-800-842-1340. You can give me a call. We'll talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. Come back. We'll talk maybe some more about Joe. Maybe not. I think I've beaten that dead horse. Or maybe we might find something else. It is the Rob Hanson radio program right here on KTOX 1340 AM, the Tri-State's Renegade radio station.
And now for your local news from KTOX.
Mojave County residents are being warned about phone scams operating in the county. One thief represents himself as being affiliated with the Mojave Electric Cooperative and offers energy-efficient upgrades to air conditioning and other items. MEC is not sponsoring any such program. Another thief is attempting a grandkid in jail scam, and a third thief is claiming to be a Windows computer person offering remote work on computers if the victim supplies personal data. Best defense, hang up the phone. 7 felony counts have been levied against Edward Sean Mullins, 38 of Kingman, after a traffic stop last Thursday yielded nearly 6 ounces of methamphetamine, 2 handguns, cash, and drug paraphernalia. Mullins was booked into the Mojave County Jail on numerous drug charges, possession of stolen property, along with a felony warrant for failure to appear. 7 days of testimony and 2 days of deliberation resulted in a Mojave County Superior Court jury finding Russell Shields, 44 of Kingman, guilty of second-degree murder in the shooting and abandonment of the body of Albert Orozco, 27, a Kingman area drug dealer, in July of 2011. Sentencing has been set for 25 February and could lead to a maximum of 25 years behind bars if aggravating factor guidelines are included in Judge Derek Carlisle's determination.
This has been your local news from
KTOX, the Tri-State's talk leader.
And get the machine that goes bing. Someone here talked about blight. How do we fix blight if we don't have the funding for it? How do we take care of that? Drive down Marina Drive, and you'll see what blight is like.
Help keep truth on the airwaves. Support KTOX with your non-tax-deductible contributions.
Tri-State's home of talk, KTOX, Needles. IRN USA News, I'm Sean Scott Ferguson. Suspected Islamist militants have attacked 2 villages in northeastern Nigeria, leaving 74 people dead, say police and witnesses. The BBC reported that militants attacked Kawuri village in Borno State as a busy market was packing up on Sunday, setting off explosives and setting houses ablaze. Witnesses said 52 people were killed in that attack, while 22 died in an attack on a church service in Waga, Chakawa village, Adamawa State, on Sunday. The attacks were blamed on Boko Haram. A Maryland mall where a 19-year-old gunman shot and killed 2 young store employees before apparently taking his own life was scheduled to reopen on Monday with increased law enforcement presence, police said. The popular retail complex in Columbia, Maryland, about 20 miles west of Baltimore, has been closed since Darian Marcus Aguilar fired 6 to 8 shots from a 12-gauge shotgun on Saturday as the mall bustled with weekend shoppers. This is IRN USA News.
You probably knew that Thomas Edison gave us the first commercial light bulb. But did you know he invented alkaline batteries and an electric train? Edison said, if we all did the things we're capable of, we would astound ourselves. Hi, how in the world are you anyway? I'm Andy Willoughby. For almost 2 decades, I've been helping families build home businesses. Many have been astounded at what they've been able to achieve. Today, I want to introduce you to my newest and most exciting home business concept ever. It's MaxAchieve.com. If you'd like to earn $500 to $5,000 or more a month working from home, check out MaxAchieve.com. This is more than a home business. At MaxAchieve, we want to help you experience more success in all areas of your life. To find out how you could astound yourself, go to MaxAchieve.com. That's MaxAchieve.com. Or call 800-801-3465. 800-801-3465.
A wave of Arctic air that settled over the Midwest and the plains is expected to spread into the southeast late Monday, bringing a chance of snow to several major cities by Tuesday. In normally balmy New Orleans, there's a 30% chance of rain and sleet Monday night, a 70% chance of freezing rain Tuesday, and an 80% chance of wintry mix Tuesday night, according to the National Weather Service. The mayor of Sochi, host of the Winter Olympics, has said there are no gay people in the city. Anatoly Pakhomov said homosexuals were welcome at the Games as long as they respect Russian law.
Next week, thousands of Olympic athletes and spectators from around the world will arrive in Sochi, but not all of them may feel welcome. It's a big question for some Olympians and Paralympians as to how they will be treated. Russia's new law bans the promotion of non-traditional sexuality to under 18s. Critics say the law is draconian and it effectively outlaws gay rights protests.
That was the BBC's John Sweeney reporting, and this is IRN USA News.
I just sneaked into my kids' rooms and took temperatures while they're sleeping, thanks to my Exergen thermometer. All I did was swipe their foreheads for a few seconds. It didn't even wake them up. My sister, the nurse, told us about the Exergen temporal scanner thermometer, and it's the best. Real value for the money and truly a lifesaver. Now I don't have to deal with ears or rears, if you know what I mean.
I'm Dr. Frank Pompey, founder of Exergen. Thousands of hospitals and clinics rely on temporal scanners. I'm confident you will too.
The Exergen temporal scanner. Pick one up at Costco and other fine retailers, or visit us at Exergen.com.
The United States on Monday demanded that Syria allow aid into the starving city of Homs as talks aimed at ending 3 years of civil war hit more trouble over the future of President Bashar al-Assad. The Syrian government said women and children could leave the besieged city and that rebels should hand over the names of the men who would remain. A U.S. State Department spokesman said an evacuation was not an alternative to immediate aid. The Grand Canyon, which snakes through the American state of Arizona, only took its present form very recently, claims a new scientific study. Earlier studies suggested the canyon was 70 million years old.
The debate about the age of the Grand Canyon has been going on for about 140 years since John Wesley Powell first floated through the Grand Canyon, and it's flipped back and forth a bit. Initially, he thought it was a very old canyon on the order of 70 million, and then the consensus swung the other way to the 5 or 6 million year time frame. We've divided the canyon into 5 different segments, and our paper suggests that really to understand the Grand Canyon, we have to understand each segment and its history and how the landscape evolved in that particular segment.
That was Professor Carl Karlstrom from the University of New Mexico speaking to the BBC. The latest investigation found that
the suicide rate of Native Americans is 25% higher than the national rate.
Today is just another day.
A day I think about you.
A day I remember your laugh.
A day I remember your sense of humor.
Why were you so sad?
What made you hurt so much?
Why didn't you call?
Why didn't I see your signs?
Your pain may be gone.
But mine just started.
No one said life was easy.
There is help. There's hope.
Reach out to someone.
Reach out to me.
Reach out to me.
Reach out to me.
A person commits suicide every 40 seconds.
So please get help. It's worth it. Be strong and live life.
This message was brought to you by Native Cry Outreach Alliance and KTOX.
Good afternoon. You're listening to KTOX in Needles, California. This is Deborah, and I subscribe to community radio, and you should too.
KTOX,
1340 AM.
The Tri-State's original local talk station.
Welcome back.
I get to know your name.
It is the Rob Hanson radio program right here on KTOX 1340 AM, the Tri-State's Renegade radio station. You want to get in on the conversation, or you can bring up a topic of your own. 1-800-842-1340. 1-800-842-1340 is the number. And of course, I want to say a great big old hello to everybody. I didn't do this. I didn't flash the gang sign. I didn't blow my kiss. I didn't do anything when the program started. I feel ashamed. I'm out of practice. That's what I get for taking a couple of weeks off, I guess. Want to say a big welcome to everybody who's watching us on the web, www.bounceradio.net/talk radio, or at www.ktox1340.com and streaming. That's /streaming. And welcome. Glad to see so many people watching this on the web. Of course, if you missed a day or so, well, we've all missed a few days in the last couple of weeks, but I'm trying to get these up online on my YouTube page. And so if you missed it, or you want to go back and review it, or even, heck, share it with a friend someplace else, just point them to my Facebook page, or point them to my my YouTube page, and you'll be able to share the Rob Hanson radio program with whoever you like. Isn't that cool? Isn't computers and cyberspace cool? I think it is. It really is. We've got some definite long range plans for some of that as well. So some enhancements coming. We're talking about the moving the studio back over into the big studio, turning it basically into a television studio, so we can create better internet streams for everybody. And we've got plans. It's going to take money. It's going to take lots and lots and lots and lots of money, and a little time, and a lot of patience. So, want to encourage you, if you haven't contributed or signed up for a subscription for KTOX, consider doing that. Go to www.ktox1340.com and go ahead and click on the support button, and consider becoming a contributor or a subscriber to KTOX. $13.40 a month. Our goal is 200 subscribers. We've got roughly around 100 right now, maybe a little more. But the closer we get to 200, that's going to cover the costs of running the radio station. And then anything over that, we can bring into equipment. We can bring in for enhanced services, better internet connectivity, so you can have a better picture at home. Just a whole plethora of things. And it's like I said, it's going to take time. It's going to take some money. But what we need is your support, because we can't do things like what Dave and Frank are doing in the morning. Right now they're They are all over the Golden Valley Fire Department. Uncovering some really some surprising corruption going on over there, and it's just amazing. Some of the tidbits and stuff I've heard this afternoon since I came back in, just have my jaw in my lap. Like, how deep, how much deeper does this graft and corruption go? I'm not going to step on their toes, because really I don't have enough information to really share or talk about it logically, so I'm not going to. But boy, oh boy, that's something. And by contributing to the station, it enables them to continue to dig further and look for more information, and continue to do that without having the light's going to stay on today, or the phone's going to stay on today, or the this and that and everything else that goes on. What happens if we break a major piece of equipment? It's things to consider. So that's why we ask for your contributions. That's why we ask for your support. Very, very inexpensive, $13.40 a month. Less than a few cups of coffee a day. We had one lady call in. She donated, for her $13.40 a month. She gave up her soda pops, the big gulps, or whatever it is. I guess big gulp would be a 7-Eleven thing, but the big soda pops from like Circle K or something like that. She gave those up and decided to use that money to support the station, and that was a wow moment. That really was. And of course, coming up also, we're in the midst of planning the next listener open house. So you'll be hearing more about that probably starting next month or so. You'll be hearing a lot more about that, some details, planning on firming up a date. We want to do it before it gets hot. But we're going to do that, open house. And the last open house was just absolutely amazing. Got to meet a whole bunch of you listeners out there, and it was just a whole lot of fun being able to sit here and talk to you for hours on end, and out here, in here, and just all over the place. And it was wonderful. It was great. And I look forward to the next time we can do that. And we're also, what are we trying to do? Trying to put together something in October for a listener party, and maybe a haunted mine. I don't know, something like that. We're working on it. Working on it hard, and the things that we can do to make your experience with the community, and especially this community radio, a better place. And we're doing it all for you, and we don't ask for very much in return. We really don't. I'm going to take a quick break. We'll come back, and we're going to talk about what happened in Colorado today. Very disturbing. Very disturbing. Young man tried to commit suicide in the cafeteria. We'll talk about how he did that and how it could possibly impact how schools do things. It's pretty disturbing. It is the Rob Hanson radio program right here on KTOX 1340 AM, the Tri-State's Renegade radio station.
And I've lost my light, for I toss and turn, I can't sleep at night. Once I ran to you.
You're listening to My Daddy on KTOX Renegade Radio 1340 AM.
KTOX Radio for the Mind.
If you need something medical, wouldn't you go to a store called Anything Medical that's the largest store of its kind in the nation? Where is this store? Right here in Bullhead City at 4345 Highway 95 in the Target Plaza next to Staples. Anything Medical's inventory is second to none, and they specialize in all your respiratory needs. Anything Medical carries Cherokee, jockey shorts, and Dickie scrubs, and lift chairs starting at just $5.99. Anything Medical in the Target Plaza next to Staples, where a first-time customer becomes a long-time friend.
And now for your local news from KTOX.
Using private prison labor that takes jobs away from local tradesmen, Golden Valley Fire Chief Thomas O'Donohue may have committed a Class 1 misdemeanor by illegally acting as a contractor when remodeling a piece of district-owned property currently in negotiations to be sold to an unnamed party. Chief O'Donohue was caught by Mojave County building inspectors last week, and the property was red tagged for multiple violations, including not having a licensed contractor. When the issue was brought up at last week's Golden Valley Fire Board meeting, this is what Chief O'Donohue had to say.
What's important is when I stub my toe, that I don't stub it again, and I learn my lesson. If I continually stub my toe, I would say the board would have cause to take me over in the corner and
40 lashes.
40 lashes with a wet noodle.
This is David Hayes reporting for KTOX News.
John McCain, the former 2008 presidential nominee and longtime member of Congress, was censured by members of the Tea Party faction of the Republican Party on Saturday and deemed to be too liberal for the goals of the party. McCain, who has supported a common-sense approach to immigration reform and health care access for all Americans, has long promoted himself as being a maverick and is now being condemned for the very things his party supported for the past 30 years. Arizona Democrats are quietly laughing as they watch the GOP literally eat their own.
This has been your local news from
KTOX,
The Tri-States Talk Leader.
And get the machine that goes bing. Someone here talked about blight. How do we fix blight if we don't have the funding for it? How do we take care of that? Drive down Marina Drive, and you'll see what blight is like.
Help keep truth on the airwaves. Support KTOX with your non-tax deductible contributions.
I'm in almost every school bus and classroom. You see me around the neighborhood, and you tell me that I'm a pretty good kid. Well, I'm 1 out of every 5 children in America, and I'm struggling with hunger.
Please visit feedingamerica.org today and find your local food bank for ways to help.
Every dollar you donate helps provide 8 meals for kids like me. We are Feeding America, brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
You're listening to KTOX AM 1340, Needles, California, the home of talk in the tri-state.
The truth. You can't handle the truth. I'm Mike Lipschultz, asking you to support KTOX 1340 AM radio because I want to know the truth.
I don't mind you coming here, wasting all my time. 'Cause when you're standing oh so near, I kinda lose my mind.
Welcome back. It is the Rob Hanson radio program right here on KTOX 1340 AM, the Tri-State's Renegade radio station. You know, got a really disturbing story that I dug up, and well, you know, I just don't really know how to take it. This happened in Westminster, Colorado. A 16-year-old student walked into Stanley Lake High School Monday morning and set himself on fire in the school cafeteria, severely burning himself and causing minor injuries to another person, and prompting the evacuation and closure of the school. You know, holy cow. Words almost fail me to be able to talk about this, but what I wish I knew more. I wish I knew what was going on with the kid and why he felt he had to do that. Westminster Fire said one student was severely burned and transported to the hospital in critical condition. Another person who helped put the fire out suffered minor injuries. 2 school staffers were able to grab a fire extinguisher and extinguish the fire fairly quickly, said Westminster Police spokesman Sherry Spicati. One school cafeteria worker suffered a minor abrasion when she broke the glass to grab the fire extinguisher. School officials said that the student was attempting suicide when he entered the school around 7:12 a.m. and set himself on fire. His identity, of course, has not been released. He's a minor. But his parents have been notified. The fire is up. The school will be closed for the rest of today and tomorrow. And my God, what those kids that were in the cafeteria to witness that, what must they be thinking right now? I mean, 1-800-842-1340. You got any insights on this? I'd like to hear what you have to say. But my goodness, I mean, it's bad enough kids are walking into school armed with guns and then shooting a bunch of people and then shooting themselves. But walking into the cafeteria and setting yourself ablaze. I hope that this does not become an epidemic. I really do. I would be very, very saddened to see that it does. But I've got to look at what's going on with the student that he felt it was everything was so bad he had to walk into the middle of a cafeteria and set himself on fire. I mean, all we can do right now at this point is conjecture because we really don't know all that much. You know, some students were still arriving at the school when the incident occurred, and when they turned around, they saw long lines of students in the snow walking off campus escorted by their teachers. Students who take the bus were dropped off Monday morning and were bused to Wade Canyon Middle School, where they were picked up by their parents. Students with cars were asked to drive home. The high school families received emergency notification, phone calls, and emails when the fire occurred and the school was evacuated. Investigators are looking into what preceded Monday's events and if they were also threats made to the school prior to the incident. Officers will be interviewing students and looking at social media. It's very concerning because we're seeing more and more incidents like this that you're never prepared for, they said. The tragedy is always a challenge for law enforcement because it's always challenging. The response team, the response from us is always different depending upon each situation. And really, can you imagine? You're a high school you're a high school student going down, let's say Mojave Valley High School or any of the high schools in the area, sitting down to drink your milk or eat breakfast or whatever. And one of your fellow students, you may know him or her or not, walks into the middle of the room and sets themselves on fire. What kind of scars are going to be on those kids as a result of this? And really, I would really like to know, what was going through this kid's mind that he had to pursue this line of action. It's really as scary and it's really as frightening, and I'm hoping this doesn't set off a bunch of copycat type of instances where kids feel so helpless that they have to publicly execute themselves like that. Like I said, it's bad enough that these kids are bringing guns to school, shoot a bunch of people, and shoot themselves. But I think this is almost even worse. Because all those kids who witnessed it are now scarred for life. I don't believe a day will go by that they don't think back, about Joe Schmo, their friend, their fellow student, walking in and harming himself in that manner. It's absolutely frightening. I can't fathom it. I really can't. And this is from a person who's tried suicide in the past. Was it that the kid was so starved for attention he had to do something? Or was he so abused by the system and by his peers or by his parents or whatever that he felt there was absolutely no hope and had to go out in the most memorable way possible? He's alive, but in critical condition, and we may never know. We may never know what his intentions were, and I think that's what scares me the most. I just hope, first thing I'm going to do after I get home is I'm going to hug my kids and let them know how grateful I am that they're here with me, and how appreciative I am of them, and how much I personally love them, and how their accomplishments and their failures make them the best person that they can be. Reinforce that somebody cares about them, and nothing in this world is so bad. No problem in this world is such a problem that we need to harm ourselves or others over it. I think that's why, we need to talk about these kind of things. 1-800-842-1340. Only got a couple of minutes left. Take a quick phone call. But what do you think? What is your first reaction from hearing this story? Mine was just absolute whoa. You've got to be kidding me. And I know it's a difficult topic to talk about, but these are our kids. And this is going to affect kids nationwide, because now not only do the schools have to look out for guns coming on the premises, but means of ignition. KTOX, you're on the air. KTOX, you're here. Hello. Going once, going twice. Try again. But holy moly. I almost interested in talking to a high school principal and finding out, what are they going to do to try to prevent a repeat of this. Or somebody else doing something even more drastic. I mean, I'm sure the kid didn't want to hurt anybody else, but by golly, that's just sad. It is the Rob Hanson radio program. We'll be right back right after these messages.
Pack it up, pack it in, let me
Arizona News Radio. A man hospitalized, his arm trapped in a conveyor belt at a sand and gravel company in Phoenix. It had to be amputated there.
We're able to kind of control the bleeding with IV fluids, and pain management therapy was given during this time.
A couple plane crashes in Arizona, one on a Cochise County ranch, 2 Tucson men uninjured.
The actual landing gear is what came into contact with the rock, and once it damaged the landing gear, the side wing on the pilot side came into contact with the ground, damaging it.
A Northwest Arizona man also escaped injury. His small plane didn't get off a small airstrip near Wikia, but he survived. Canadian surgeon died in a base jumping accident. It slammed into a cliff.
It did not appear that there was anything wrong with it. You know, we kind of attribute this either to operator error.
7-year-old Mesa girl hospitalized, injured riding an ATV. For these and other stories, ArizonaNewsRadio.com. I'm George Tanner.
Jerry!
What's wrong?
The client conference call is right now!
I thought it was next week.
I don't have the presentation ready!
Okay. Blame the internet. Say it went out.
They'll never believe that. They know we have Cox Business. Our internet is too reliable and is 100 times faster than basic DSL.
Say customer service is closed.
Cox Business has 24/7 support!
Well, say it would take too long to get a technician here.
No, they know the award-winning customer service is local. They told us to get Cox Business.
The call has started.
Good morning. I forgot about this meeting. We have terrific internet.
Switch to Cox Business Internet and Voice for only $99 a month. Speed options up to 100 times faster than basic DSL. Get a 30-day money-back guarantee and free professional installation with a 3-year agreement. Visit coxbusiness.com and switch today. Offer ends 4/30/14.
We're KTOX, your local government watchdog for the tri-state.
You're to really be congratulated for having a station, and I say this with great admiration, standing up and independently seeking out information that your supporters there and advertisers in that community realize what you've got going. You've got an open voice that allows you to hear what's going on and to get the news, and an open voice for you to make your opinions known. That is not allowed in an awful lot of markets right now.
KTOX, Needles, a creative broadcasting services station.
This is Professor Michio Kaku. Freedom of speech is not free. Courageous stations like this one need your advertising dollars to pay their bills. Talk radio is America's immune system. If you run a business, it makes sense for you to advertise with this station. Here's the good news. According to Talkers Magazine, ads airing on talk stations like this one generate 2 to 3 times the response from customers than other radio formats because talk radio listeners support with their dollars the advertisers that support the shows that they love. If you run a business, advertise on this station. And if you're a listener, do business with the businesses that advertise on this station.
KTOX, Needles, a creative broadcasting services station.
The internet has given everyone in America a voice, and evidently everyone in America has chosen to use that voice.
Damn you, internet! Dude, it's not fake. The internet's pure truth.
Good heavens, I was right. The man is crazy.
You ride that internet, you weird, glorious bastard.
KTOX1340.com. Check it out.
It's on the internet.
Good morning. This is Mike and Mary. That's my wife. We listen to KTOX every morning just so we can hear the truth.
Welcome back. It is the Rob Hanson radio program right here on KTOX 1340 AM. We'll take a phone call right off the bat. KTOX, you're on the air.
Hey Rob, how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty darn good. I'm glad to be back.
Well, I'm glad to have you back.
How you doing, Steve?
I'm doing all right. I was listening to your last segment.
Was it with the Colorado high school student?
Yes.
Isn't that sad?
It is sad, and I want to tell you, I think there's a couple of things we need to remember here.
Uh-huh.
In the cases of kids that do things like this in schools, and frankly, in the cases of people that do things suicidal, there are often a couple of things that are factors. Either one, they are so overwhelmed with the horrible circumstances of their life that they don't know what else to do.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're trying to make a statement. They're trying to get back at somebody. I'll show you. And
I'll show you.
Yeah.
I'll set myself on fire in the middle of the cafeteria.
That's exactly right. There are a lot of people that commit suicide or attempt suicide, and they're doing that trying to get someone's attention. And so here's the thing that I would say. First off, if you are a person who is in either one of those categories and is either so overwhelmed or is trying to get someone's attention, there are certainly better ways to do that than setting yourselves on fire or taking a gun and walking to a school or wherever else and creating problems. Talk to somebody. Find your guidance counselor. If you don't want to do that, pick up a phone book and call a pastor, a minister, a youth leader, someone at the YMCA or at one of the youth centers, and get someone to talk to you.
And you know, the thing is, you know, I'm sitting here thinking about it. I'm listening to what you have to say, and I'm trying to think of an agency that wouldn't help. I mean, you could pretty much call anybody, and they'd be all over themselves to help.
That's right. That's right. And by the way, if perchance you call somebody and they say or they behave as if they don't have time, fine. Call the next person on the list. You know, call the next person on the list, because there are people out there that are willing to help and that want to help.
Yeah.
And so don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt others because you're trying to get attention or because things are so bleak in your life that you don't know what else to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, the other side of that coin is those of us that are not in that circumstance need to be vigilant and need to be watchful for those that may fall into those categories.
You know, and I that's why I said, you know, I'm going to go home. I'm going to hug my kids. I'm going to let them know how valuable I find them. You know, faults and all.
You know, I got a note from somebody today via email where they said, you know, thank you for something that you said to me several years ago. It made my day and it turned things around for me. And I don't even remember the incident, but they remember.
And isn't that all that counts?
And so what I would say to you is, you know, it doesn't cost us anything to pat someone on the head to let someone know that we appreciate what they're doing, whatever it is. And it may go a long way to helping someone realize that their life is not as bleak as they thought.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I would encourage both the people that are going through that to reach out and try to find someone that can help them, and for those of us that aren't going through that, to be vigilant and to look for those around us that may need our help. It may be a neighbor kid. It may be someone who's working in the cubicle beside us. It may be someone who's pumping gas at the gas station beside us.
Yeah, absolutely.
We need to find ways to be human toward each other.
Well put. Well put, Steve. You know, and you know what? Very, very aptly put too. Be human to one another. You know, because here we are. Let's look at this realistically. Let's look at the world we live in right now, where 90% of the teenage population has their head buried in a smartphone.
Yeah.
You know, thumbs blazing away, or you know, whatever, and you know, and earphones in, not connected to the world around them, but connected to this little tiny 3 by by 4-inch box.
Well, not just teenagers, Rob.
Well, I understand that, but this.
Adults too.
Oh yeah, adults too. I'm not. Well, sort of. No, actually, I am death on texting. I really am. My had a conversation with my niece this weekend, it was this weekend, and she said, "Well, why didn't Tiffany just text me?" And I said, "Because I don't allow texting at all." I mean, there are certain times where I say, yeah, it's okay to send me a text. If I'm on the air or something, go ahead and send me a text or message me on Facebook or something. But I'd rather hear your voice.
Well, I understand that. In truth, I use every method of communication that's available.
Yeah.
I use texting, I use email, I use Facebook, I use Twitter, I use phone calls, I use face-to-face, I use postcards and letters. I use it all.
Mm-hmm.
Because I want to be as accessible as I can be to my friends, and I want them to be as accessible to me as I need them to be.
Right.
And but we live in a time where there's a lot of division. We have people that are upset about liberals and progressives and conservatives and Tea Party people, and we have people that are upset about wealthy people and poor people, and we have racial divisions and religious divisions and sexual divisions, and on and on and on and on it goes.
Divisiveness.
And if we're not careful, we focus more on the divisions than we do the things that we have in common.
This is true.
So I would encourage our listeners, your listeners, I would encourage them to think of ways that they can reach out to people around them in just a little way. Open a door for someone. Let someone in traffic instead of, being a hardhead and not letting them get in front of you.
You know what? I have even a simpler action.
Sure.
Smile.
Yeah.
Show some people some nice teeth, not a grimace. But smile.
Smile.
A smile will go a long, long, long way.
Absolutely. Say thank you. Let's be human toward one another instead of being so abrasive towards one another.
Right.
And I think if we do that, we will see some of these other incidences of desperation diminish dramatically.
I think you've hit it on the head, Steve. I really do, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is going to be a topic in your show over the weekend.
It might very well
I would
know.
not. Now, for those of you listeners who know, this is Steve DeLoach of the DeLoach Approach on North Star Radio, and good friend of mine. Great radio program on the weekends. God, I want to get you on KTOX so bad. I really do. We've got a production meeting coming up here within the next week or so, and I think I'm going to try to get you on.
Let's work something out. We need to do that
because I would
need
love
to
to
be
have
a
you
part
on.
of the KTOX family.
Well, you do. We need you to somehow convince you to move out of that northern Arkansas swamp you live in and come out to the desert where it's dry without any snow and run out of here for a while. No, I'm kidding. You really wouldn't want to do that.
No, and as you know, because you know a little bit about my life, I don't live in Arkansas all the time.
No, you don't. I mean, it's rare. Sometimes it's almost rare to have you in one place for more than 3 weeks.
Yes, I do my show when I'm traveling, and it's not uncommon for the show to be on Saturday night in Arkansas one week, and in Oklahoma the next week, and in Houston the next week, and in Florida the next week, and then back up in Alabama, and then in South America, and maybe in some Caribbean island. And don't be surprised if before next month is over, I don't do the show from Hawaii.
You know what? If you do the show in Hawaii, you got to take me with you. Seriously, I need a vacation. I need some sand. I need some water. I need hula girls. I need pineapple. I need Kona coffee. In that order.
Well, I hate to tell you, Rob, but I'm heading out there the end of next month.
Oh, good Lord! Well, I'll make sure I have to listen to that one.
And you know what? I'll call your radio show from Maui while I'm there.
I hang up on you. I will hang up on you. You're one of my dear friends. I think I just have to hang up on you. I won't do that. Oh my goodness. Well, I hope you have a good time and remember, Kona coffee. Kona coffee. The best
Absolutely.
Best stuff on the face of the planet. I can never afford it and I can't get enough of it. Hey, Steve, thanks so much for your call, man.
Thank you, Rob. And remember, folks, smile to one another, treat each other nice.
Yeah, we'll do that. Thanks for calling.
Man. Bye.
Bye. It is the Rob Hanson radio program. Take a quick break, come back, close out the program, and figure out what we're going to do for tomorrow. Yeah, it's just been one of those kind of things. It is the Rob Hanson radio program right here on KTOX 1340 AM, the Tri-State's Renegade radio station. 1-800-842-1340 is the number you can call. Talk about anything you want.
You're listening to Our Daddy on KTOX 1340 AM. Tune in daily. Peace.
KTOX, the Tri-State leader in local talk.
And now for your local news from KTOX.
Mojave County residents are being warned about phone scams operating in the county. One thief represents himself as being affiliated with the Mojave Electric Cooperative and offers energy-efficient upgrades to air conditioning and other items. MEC is not sponsoring any such program. Another thief is attempting a grandkid in jail scam, and a third thief is claiming to be a Windows computer person offering remote work on computers if the victim supplies personal data. Best defense, hang up the phone. 7 felony counts have been levied against Edward Sean Mullins, 38 of Kingman, after a traffic stop last Thursday yielded nearly 6 ounces of methamphetamine, 2 handguns, cash, and drug paraphernalia. Mullins was booked into the Mojave County Jail on numerous drug charges, possession of stolen property, along with a felony warrant for failure to appear. 7 days of testimony and 2 days of deliberation resulted in a Mojave County Superior Court jury finding Russell Shields, 44 of Kingman, guilty of second-degree murder in the shooting and abandonment of the body of Albert Orozco, 27, a Kingman area drug dealer, in July of 2011. Sentencing has been set for 25 February and could lead to a maximum of 25 years behind bars if aggravating factor guidelines are included in Judge Derek Carlisle's determination.
This has been your local news from
KTOX,
the Tri-State's talk leader.
And get the machine that goes bing.
Someone here talked about blight. How do we fix blight if we don't have the funding for it? How do we take care of that? Drive down Marina Drive, and you'll see what blight is like.
Help keep truth on the airwaves. Support KTOX with your non-tax deductible contributions.
Dad, I don't think that will work.
Oh, nonsense. Duct tape fixes everything.
Uh-oh, Mom's gonna kill you.
Dad, you should get new flights for your darts and New Life games.
Yeah, Dad, Joey has all sorts of good stuff there.
Billiard and pool along with old school video games. He'll even fix their slot machine for us, Dad.
Okay, girls, let's go to New Life Games at 1159 Highway 95 in Bullhead City, Arizona. And let's go before your mom figures out I broke the window again.
Dandy Donut and Deli at 4630 Highway 95 in Fort Mojave has fresh baked donuts and pastries every day. They also feature sandwiches made to order, burritos, salads, wraps, and much more. Come in for breakfast and try the Sunrise Croissant Sandwich. It's a freshly buttered croissant with 2 scrambled eggs, American cheese, a choice of ham, bacon, turkey, or sausage, and a side of fresh fruit, mini muffin, or a regular donut. Don't forget the smoothies, fresh coffee, iced or hot, and Thai iced tea. Dandy Donut and Deli at 4630 Highway 95 in Fort Mojave, where quality food and service happen every day. When it comes to local news, state news, business news, national news, sports, variety, information, and more, KTOX is the Tri-State's talk leader.
Hi, this is Bob of C. Crane. Growing up, I could never find a radio that could get great reception, so we started making our own. We have a good choice of radios built for the best reception and a great staff, so when you need a radio, please give us a call. In fact, it's our mission to answer your questions and help you find the radio that's the best radio for you.
Call right now and request a free copy of our catalog at 800-522-8863. You can also visit us online at ccrane.com.
When it comes to local news, state news, business news, national news, sports, variety, information, and more, KTOX is the Tri-State's talk leader.
This is Ted Nugent at KTOX 1340 AM, where the spirit of the wild is strong and free.
Welcome back. It is the Rob Hanson radio program right here on KTOX 1340 AM. Tri-State's renegade radio station. Oh, man. I love my listeners. I really do. We'll take a quick phone call. KTOX, you're on the air.
Hey, Radio Rob.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, listen, man, it's good to have you back. You know, we sure missed you.
Oh, it's good to have me back, too. You don't know how addicting it is sitting behind this microphone and yapping my brains out. It really is addicting.
You do such a good service for us.
I try. I really try.
You really do. Now, I won't take up much time because I know there's other people that want to call.
Oh.
I wanted to thank Steve, the previous caller.
Oh, yeah.
Man, you know what? He really put it there.
He did.
He put it right there.
He did.
Believe me, where I'm at, believe me, he put it right there.
You know, I wholeheartedly agree. You know, he's a pastor, and he
that explains a lot.
He does a lot of volunteer work in Guyana, and just absolutely just an absolutely all around wonderful, great guy.
Someday it will be a pleasure to meet him at one of the appreciation get-togethers.
You know, I would love that too. But you know, he really is a busy guy. He's going traveling all the time, getting things set up for his trips to Guyana. What he does is he brings in medical people, and he goes around and he recruits people to do this and that, and just a very busy, such a nice guy.
Oh, bless his heart.
I could talk to him for hours.
Yeah. What he said was magnificent. There's just one thing I wanted to add to it.
Sure.
And to anyone that's out there listening, and I want to speak to them in just a moment. But this bad thing about getting hurt and everything, no. And the young people, you know, this kind of thing, it's a permanent solution to a temporary problem.
It is.
And I wish everyone that was listening, all of our listeners, all two of them,
all two of them, huh?
Yeah. I would humbly ask that they stand aside for just a moment and say a small prayer for our beloved Rob Hanson. You know, the other guy.
Yeah, that guy, my evil twin brother Rod.
Yeah, that's him. But just stand aside for just a moment and say a small prayer.
Mm-hmm.
And I may ask that, and I'll hang up.
Okay, well, hey.
Because I got to go pray.
You go. You go. All right, have a good one. Thanks for your call. Oh, man. You know, it's... Yeah, both the previous callers, absolutely dead on. 1-800-842-1340 if you're trying to get in. Got about 3 minutes left, 2 or 3 minutes left. But you know, we could solve a lot of these problems. We need to get our noses out from the our computers. We need to get our noses out from behind these smartphones. You know, look up, look around, and start connecting on a personal basis. And like Steve said, you know, do something nice for somebody. Do something nice, and I can simplify that even further. Just smile at somebody. Acknowledge their existence. We are social creatures. I found a video over the weekend. I forwarded it to Dave. It was about empathy. You know, some of their ideas were a little bit too far-fetched for me, but you know, what do I know? I'm just a radio show host on a little KTOX 1340 AM out here in the middle of absolute nowhere. You know, they had some really good things to say, like we need to connect with other people. We are social creatures. And when we disconnect from the social gathering points, we get things like unprecedented violence. We get things like mass murderers and suicides and anger and fear. But when we're social together and when we're working together, or when we can empathize with each other, not sympathy, empathy, two different things. We can relate to one another. We can start communicating effectively. But we don't promote those kind of things anymore, and it's a shame. It really is. It is the Rob Hanson radio program. Wow, all the way to the end. It is Monday, 57 after the hour. Well, 4:57 here in California, Nevada. 5:57 in Arizona. We'll see you tomorrow right here on the Rob Hanson radio program, KTOX 1340 AM, the Tri-State's Renegade radio station. So glad to be back. And we will see you tomorrow.
If I wanted anything to do with San Madrano, I'd call Domino's and order a pizza.
In my world, everyone's a pony, and they all eat rainbows and poop butterflies.
When it comes to local news, state news, business news, national news, sports, variety, information, and more, KTOX is the Tri-State's talk leader.
And now for your local news from KTOX.
Using private prison labor that takes jobs away from local tradesmen, Golden Valley Fire Chief Thomas O'Donohue may have committed a Class 1 misdemeanor by illegally acting as a contractor when remodeling a piece of district-owned property currently in negotiations to be sold to an unnamed party. Chief O'Donohue was caught by Mojave County building inspectors last week, and the